Hey, can you hear me? Look, check it out. Ignite Her has launched. It is 2025. I'm just picking up clothes from one of my friends who had some extra clothes to help out the Ignite Her program. If you have any gently worn business attire, clothes for women who are out here doing the work but maybe do not have the clothing that they need to get the job done, we need your old clothes. Hit me up in my inbox or through House of Peach. The program is called Ignite Her, where we provide clothing to women who may be transitioning from one job to the next and maybe don't have the means to buy clothes. It could be going from working at McDonald's to now working in an office. So we're looking for gently worn business clothes. Make sure y'all hit us up, all right? Please hit us up. We need those clothes. And check right below there. If you're not in the state of Delaware, you can mail them to us. Or if you're in Delaware, we'll pick them up. Y'all have a great evening.
Hello, everyone. Guess what time it is? It is time for another Boss Lady Lounge show under the direction and umbrella of House of Peach. I'm April Anderson. Y'all have seen me here for the past couple of years, and I just want to welcome you to the Boss Lady Lounge. We are so happy that you're on. I need you to do me a favor before I do anything else. I need you to like, tag, share everywhere. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Facebook in 2 or 3 different places. So there's no excuse for you not to be able to see this show and what's going on. We have another Power Pack one. We have a guest that's going to be on with us this evening. So before I get into all of that, how y'all doing? I haven't seen y'all or been on here like in a couple of Mondays. It's been, I hope y'all miss me like I missed y'all. I really wanted to try to get on last week, but it just was not happening. You know, when you jump time zones, you just got to figure out how things are going to go. And it just was not working out. But I was thinking about y'all. I was thinking about the show. I did miss everything. But I hope y'all been doing well. I hope last week was good. It was good for me. Now, although I was out of town, I got a chance to do something that was well needed in my life for me. I got a chance to refocus, regroup, reset, and relax. Something that I haven't done in a while. So, you know, sometimes when you start to feel a little anxious, a little antsy, you feel a little irritated, a little agitated, sometimes you just need to get away by yourself, you know, have some time alone, do some meditating, do some journaling, do some listening to music, do whatever you need to do. And that's exactly what I did. I sat on the balcony of my hotel. I had a view of the water. I was able to just listen to music. I listened to the water. I was able to release a whole lot of things that had been kind of, you know, weighing me down and upsetting me and having me agitated. Like, oh, I didn't want that. So, and I did a lot of journaling, which I love doing because when I start feeling that way, it's like, oh, I need to get this out of me and on some paper. And that's what I did. So I was able to release and let go of so much. But you know, every single time that we do that, do you know there's always something that's going to come to try to take that piece away from you? Not going to happen. Not happening. I worked hard. I got back on my workout routine. Y'all be ready. I'm not going to post any videos. I'm just going to do a before and after. Let y'all see the results for yourself. But I needed that to be able to get myself back on track. So if you find yourself in that place right now, I am suggesting to you, you don't even have to go far. When I lived in New Jersey, I drove to Princeton, which was about an hour and a half away from where I lived. I checked in a hotel for 3 days. I didn't talk to anybody. The only time I left that room was to get my DoorDash food. But I used that time to reset and refocus then. My kids had access to me, so they knew only call me if it's an emergency. I didn't talk to anybody. I wasn't on social media, but I needed it because after those 3 days, when I came out, felt like new money. And so then I could now advance forward. Sometimes we need that. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to now move forward in what I need to do in my life and where I'm going and have my head cleared up so I now can advance. So that's always good, especially for us entrepreneurs. If you are an entrepreneur, you sometimes need that moment. You may not be able to take 3 days or a week or anything like that. Maybe you only have a day. Maybe you only have 2 days. Take full advantage of the time that you have to reset. Also, us mothers. Oh my goodness. So my daughter, who's 10, is going with her father for the summer, like she does every summer. And although I love my daughter immensely, I need this break, y'all. And I'm excited about her going with her dad, which gives me the summer to now continue to do some things that I need to do and just worry about me. Like I don't have to cook if I don't want to. Just pick up something little and be done with it. So take the time that you need. All right. So let's move on. So that was my last week. I came back and slept all day Friday afternoon and part of Saturday, like still trying to get myself together, but it was so worth it. So worth it. Now, I hope while I'm doing all this talking that y'all are liking, tagging, and sharing so we can let other people come and join us on the show this evening. I know you saw the flyer. That's my bad. My bad on getting the flyer out late. I'm going to do so much better in getting them out in enough time so we can advertise enough so y'all know. But you should know by now. Come on. We've been back on since January. So y'all know that we're on every single Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So do like I do. Put a timer in your phone. Do it for me. Can you just do that for me? Little old April, can you do it for me? And come on and support us and share the information. You're not the only person that needs to benefit from this. There are other men and women that need to benefit from what we have on here. All right. Amazing. So we're going to keep on moving. We're going to keep on going. It's a little housekeeping things. Y'all know we have our chat and everywhere. So you comment. I've got my Facebook page up. I have Instagram on another screen. I have, what else do I have? YouTube is up. I can't see YouTube, but the producers can. So as you put your comments in, put your questions in, anything, I want to make sure that I acknowledge you and your comments and your questions. So we want to make sure we do that, right? So we don't want to not acknowledge our guests because y'all are the reason why we're here. We didn't just, we're continuing on because we want to give you the things that you need, the things that you desire. And tonight is a really good one. As a matter of fact, I'm interested in learning more. Now, this woman that we have coming on, when I read her bio, I was like this, like, ooh, April, you got to come up a little bit more, baby, a little bit more right here. She has done some amazing things, but we're going to talk about one aspect. Actually, I want to talk about a lot. So, Dr. Nall, I want you to be prepared. We're going to talk about a lot. I have a lot of questions, a lot I want you to discuss, but we're going to talk about what's in a name. You know, your name is so important. So we want to make sure that we get into everything that we need to on this evening. So y'all buckle your seatbelts, get ready, because you're probably going to learn some stuff that you didn't know. I know I am, and I'm ready. Y'all hear me? Ready, ready, ready. Now I want to do this before I go any. No, no, no. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till the end, like I always do. Let's not go off. Now, all this is unscripted, so you see me going back and forth. Unscripted. We just can't. I can't do. I don't have anybody with cue cards up here saying, "Oh, you need to read that." No, this is just how it comes to me. Is how it comes out. All right, y'all liking, tagging, and sharing. Y'all letting people know that we're on. I didn't do my due diligence, so I probably should have done that. But my people know. I had to get on my family members. You know, you be your own people sometimes. Like they wouldn't even. I'm like, y'all don't even come on the podcast. How that look? They're like, we're sorry, we're sorry. Well, I'm gonna need you to do better. So, like, tag, share, put this out, let people know that we are on and we have an amazing show. Now, I'm going to move my screens here and I'm going to pull up this bio for this amazing woman and I'm going to bring her on here because now I'm going to say this off the bat. I do not know this. I didn't put her entire name on the flyer, and that's my fault. And I didn't see it until I read her bio. But on here, it says Dr. Tamra Nall. However, there's an extra last name, and I'm not getting ready to try to pronounce that because I'm not about butchering nobody's name. You hear me, Dr. Tamra? I'm not getting ready to butcher that last name. So I'll let you pronounce it, then I'll try to remember that, all right? So she is a trailblazer in ethical AI, global naming traditions, and bias reduction, widely recognized for her contributions to machine learning, data science, and cultural innovation. Now that right there says it all. What does that say? That this is a highly intelligent, beautiful woman who's going to come and talk to us about Junia. I cannot wait to hear about this because I've always wondered and I always had questions about it. I'm giving y'all some little teasers because I want y'all to be like, what is she talking about? Oh, we're going to bring her on and let her tell it herself. So without further ado, we are going to bring Dr. Tamra Nall on with us in the Boss Ladies Lounge. Hello, hello. How are you?
April, how are you? I'm so happy to be here.
Fantastic. You are so beautiful. I told y'all she was beautiful. Y'all didn't believe me that she is.
Thank you.
I hope your day has been well. How have you been doing today?
I've been doing well. My voice is a little scratchy because, yes, my name is Dr. Tamra Nall Azani. My husband is Nigerian.
Okay.
So it's a Nigerian last name. And we went to a party this weekend, his aunt's birthday party, you know, with spraying the money and dancing and screaming and stuff. My voice is a little bit gone. But
that lets you know that you had a good time, and that's what you're supposed to do when you go to a party. Don't come out still looking the same. Your hair is supposed to be gone, your makeup's supposed to be running, and something to let you know you've had a good time. Well, that's good. Now, your raspy voice, now in the preacher world, preachers love to have the voice like that because that makes them feel like they're all deep and stuff. You know, they do something like that.
And a PK, so that goes along with that too. So.
Me too.
Nice. Very nice.
There. I knew it. I knew I was going to love you. So you have such an impressive bio. I was reading and it was like, oh, wow. I really could learn a lot from her because a lot of things that you had in there, I'm like, and we are now transitioning to a great AI world, and for you to have all of this experience in AI and everything that you're delving into, I'm like, man, I need to go back and get another degree or something. You have a list of things. So I know your schedule is always tight. Always. So I'm just happy that you could fit us into your schedule for this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right, so I'm gonna stop talking because I want you to give us, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go into the real reason why we're here. I want to focus on your company with the names because that intrigued me quite a bit. So go ahead, tell us about you.
Yes. So thank you again. So my name is Dr. Tamra Nall Azani, and I always like to talk about my background a little bit, but I'm a preacher's kid. I grew up in the dirty South. So I actually grew up primarily in Birmingham, Alabama, and then moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And I am an entrepreneur. I'm actually a serial entrepreneur and an investor. So my husband and I
Mm,
invest in hotels. Right now, we're invested in 2 hotels, which, I just thank God that I've been in rooms and a part of conversations and ask a lot of questions, because all my life I thought that the brands owned hotels, but no, people like me and you can own
mm,
them, with a contribution, be it 10,000, 25,000, etc. And it's feasible. It's
mhm,
feasible. So rather than spend money somewhere else, you just put that money aside and can be invest in a hotel. And I'm invested in a minority female owned hotel, um, Elise Capital. And it's wonderful. So then, you get your tax write off through depreciation, etc., which is another way to build wealth. So that's the investor part. But I became an entrepreneur when I was very, very young. In fact, what happened was my father was a human resource manager and an auditor, and for a meat packing company, and he got laid off. So our
mm,
lifestyle changed
mhm,
drastically. And versus my friends whose parents were entrepreneurs, their life didn't change. And so very young, I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't know what that is, but that is what I was going to be, and have been that, and have several businesses, and actually made my first 5 figures at 12. So I have always been that. My sister was my first employee, and we don't agree whether or not I fired her or she quit. But we were doing the invoices for the meat packing company that my dad worked at, and that's how we made almost about $30,000 at 12.
wow.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Wow. Sometimes I think about how there are a lot of people who started off as children with entrepreneurship. And my upbringing, I never, and I wish that I had, I didn't get this entrepreneurial mindset until well into my adult life. But I always think, what would it have been like if I had been an entrepreneur as a child, and where I would be now? Like, wow, that's something.
Yeah, and I think, and I always tell people this. I always tell people that it's supposed to happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Mhm.
So yeah, while I made the money, I saved it because then I wanted to go to Africa, and I saved all my money to go to in college to go help pay for me to go to Africa. So I didn't even really use it then. That because that was my goal, to go to the motherland and find my people.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like every experience is important. And
Mhm.
so, with your experience being an entrepreneur in your adulthood, you then can be a blessing to other women and men. But in this given Women Empowerment and Boss Ladies Lounge, you can help people maybe start earlier or understand it's okay when you're an adult.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's my career field is in surgery. And
Oh,
I tell my students all the time, I said, the only thing I regret is not knowing about the field that I'm in much when I was in high school, because I
uh-huh.
probably would have been like way, way, way further along. But the
Hmm.
20 years that I've been in, I've been able to, like you said, influence a lot of students because I've been teaching for a long time. So be
Hmm.
able to produce those students, those graduates that now go into the field, and they're doing extremely well. So, you're right. It happens when it's supposed to.
Hmm.
I had my own timeline of what I wanted to do, and none of that happened. Not a one. So it's like, yeah, no, that's not what I have for you. I got something else, another path for you to take.
Hmm.
So here I am.
And
Okay.
then you took your personal retreat, those 3 days, like amazing. So many of us don't do that. And you do need
Mhm,
that time to kind of sit down, go away, kind of think, come up with your
mhm.
strategy and execute.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
And I just love the fact that I was not concerned about my phone. Like, everybody knew where I was. If anything happened, they would be the first one called, and nobody bothered me. It was
Yeah,
good. It was like, oh, it's just so peaceful. So now I can clear my head and I can
right.
think. Wow.
Exactly.
Well, that is amazing. So you have obtained a number of degrees. Very impressive. You have your doctorate. What was that, in engineering?
In
Oh, yeah.
engineering from George
Yeah.
Washington University, and my focus was in artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Mm,
So my thesis was around whether or not you can predict performance issues in federal contracting, because my main company is the leading niche, and we are a federal contractor to civilian and defense agencies, and we provide data analytics and research to those agencies. But my real passion, in addition to Junia, which we'll talk about, but my real passion is around human robotic relationships,
Okay.
human humanoid relationships. I believe that one day humans will marry robots and have lives together. And I know that that's really futuristic for some people to think about, but it's coming. And I think
Mm-hmm.
the only delay will be the state's approval, but you
Mm-hmm.
always have California and New York to lead the way. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and there are some people that talk about that, but if you think about it, you can just like Google and see that people are forming romantic relationships with, like, their chat bots, etc. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to think about an analogous, I'm sorry, I'm analogous, um, I'm saying analogous, but that's not the word. An analogy of
Mm-hmm.
what's representative would be those individuals that have relationship with live dolls, right? Like with
Mm-hmm.
life-size dolls. That's really the starting customer base. But I've also am forming relationships with universities. And while that's too far in the future for them, we're looking at case studies and use cases with patients with dementia
Mm-hmm.
who need somebody, if you will, some bot there to talk to them, to rub their hand, to
Mm-hmm.
for they to rub their hand, and that kind of like gives them that type of joy and touch and happiness and belonging. We have found all else the same does help someone live longer,
Mm-hmm.
and can bear certain pain longer, if you will, or kind of minimize the pain in their mind. And so those are the use cases that we're using now within a hospital context,
Okay.
within a primary care context. A care context is what we're using now. And then with my own research, I'm moving towards the path of relationship. Yes, I do have a husband, but we actually um, are getting ready to get a robotic dog as well as a humanoid, that we're gonna first test out with, like, doing chores around the house. So
Okay.
that's where we are with that. And then also another company of mine is Rely AI. So the website is RELIAI.app, and it is your 24/7 life companion avatar. We have
Mm.
4 different customer segments, but we're starting with divorcees, and it will help with co-parenting scheduler, financial tracking with alimony and child support, communication and messaging in the form of a mediator. So you might want to say this blankety blank blank blank, and Rely AI, however you name him or her or it, will say, well, do you really want to say that? Maybe you want to try this. This might get you further, that kind of thing. And then in phase 2, so the MVP will drop in about 2 weeks. But in phase 2, you'll actually be able to customize the avatar. So if you want to look and sound like your grandmother who raised you, a
Mm.
handsome man, a beautiful woman, an alien, whatever you want it to be, it will customize to that. And then we're coming out with mobile and desktop, but it'll also be wearables. And post divorce, this Rely AI will be with you as you begin to date. You go out with 5 different people. It's going to keep up with their names, their preferences, what you did, make suggestions, order your groceries. So it's going to be like your life's companion.
Wow.
And then at some point, though my partner isn't quite there yet, and he is a successful tech starter, and he's started, grown, and sold tech companies. I'm moving towards products of being able to supply eventual robots and humanoids. And so there, the question is making sure that it's scalable and affordable.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a couple of things because you triggered me on some stuff that I've
Okay.
seen. First, I want to say, hey, Maybach, Maybach, you and I got to talk after the show. We got to connect. I have a question for you. But so when I think about the movie that came out some years ago, I, Robot with Will Smith, they had these bots. these robots that people could get. And I remember his, I don't know if his grandmother or his aunt, I think it was grandmother, she had one. But when you were talking about the dementia patients, you know, because they're usually in a facility and they don't have enough staff that can sit with them all day. And so then they're left alone, and then their mind is not being utilized. So then they just go deeper into their condition, and then they don't survive as long as they possibly could. So I could definitely see that being a benefit. Now, I've seen on TikTok, and my kids are like, why? That I don't want to get a real dog because it's too much responsibility. So they have these little robot dogs on there. And they do all the stuff except you don't have to feed them and you don't have to take them to the bathroom. But they do all the stuff. I'm like, I want one of those. Plug it up.
It's perfect. And I travel quite a bit. My husband's really busy too. So it's perfect for us too, because we can't walk the dog and it's abuse if you don't, right? And they have affordable ones, most of which are out of Asia. But there are some now that actually, if you hire the right developer, you can program it to bark. And that's what I want. I want one that sounds vicious, because we actually had an intruder about a month ago.
Oh,
That shook me to the bone in the core. And so you can program it even to sense, so it will know me, it will know him, and it'll know that wait, that third person doesn't belong here. So yes, it's becoming more commercialized, and I believe that it will be at a price point where everybody could have one if they want one.
Yeah. It is very interesting to watch how the world is now transitioning into that. And, you know, a lot of folks laughed about the Jetsons and all of that stuff. But I see this stuff like slowly but surely coming to pass. Like all this stuff that's happening. It's like you got to pay attention to what's going on. It's quite interesting. So I would not know where to start with none of what you're doing, but all I can say is it is some amazing things that you are doing, and I really want to keep my eye on you to see how things are going and watch, because
Thank you.
You know, we are some very creative people.
Yes.
We have a great creative mind. A lot of things that we've created and done, I was just watching something today about that, has been taken away from us and we don't get the credit for. But we can make some things and develop some things that would really work in this world. And so I'm just looking forward to seeing all that's going to come about. Hey, let me go check this website out. That's all I didn't get the chance to do, but I'm going to check it out. See how I can get me something here.
Do that. But let me tell you how you can get started. And this is how anybody can get started. AI is here. It's not going anywhere. And for people who are afraid of it, the best thing is to just start with it. You know, ChatGPT is so simple. It's so easy, user friendly. It's free. Of course, you have limits, right? You might have to upgrade, but it's there. And just try it with, where should I go and take vacation? If I'm going on a 3-day retreat, what should I focus on? And then it gets more complicated. I mean, my customized ChatGPT, it even says, girl, that's how it talks to me. So it knows me. I just have to put in a little bit and it'll put in the names of the people I'm talking about, even though I'm trying to be anonymous with it. So it really, really knows me. And then I also have a podcast called Lead with AI. So if you look YouTube, whatever, Lead with AI podcast, and it's for the AI curious, the AI terrified, and the AI FOMO'd. So you just don't want to miss out. And the guests that I have are phenomenal. They're guests that can help, just like people like me, you, our businesses. I even have, honestly, a guest that I'm trying to book. They've developed an app, an AI app, where you can take a gun and anybody who hasn't picked it up can shoot a target with 100% accuracy. Now, that's scary, right? But it's happening. And I don't like to be in the dark. I want to know what's going on. I want to be able to process it myself. And so, that's how you can do. Just start small, etc. And even they have all kind of AI tools for podcasting and streaming. It's just so much that we can do. One of my guests, he actually has some AI agents where he took a solopreneur, one person. They started, I want to say, I'm just going to throw out something. Let's say on a Tuesday. launched his product or service, I don't know which one it was, in 3 different countries. And the next day, his bots were selling products. He was earning revenue in 5 different languages across those 3 countries within 24 hours.
Wow.
Exactly. And another one, another example was a real estate agent. He set it up on like a Thursday, went home over the weekend. On Monday, he had booked 72 viewings. It was so many that he called them and was like, there has to be a mistake. They were like, no, these are real bookings. So he went from like 1 or 2 in a couple of weeks to 72 right
Wow.
away. And that was one real estate agent. So you just have to use it and say, this is what I aspire to
Mhm.
do. This is what I want to do. How do I do it? There are companies out there that can help create an agent, or you could do it yourself. It's probably going to be a little bit more difficult and take a little bit
Mhm.
longer, like outsource it, delegate it, and make the money.
Mhm. Wow. Now my wheels, my gears are turning now. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Oh my goodness. I've had used Chat GPT just I did it just because I was curious and I don't remember what I put
yes,
in there, but what it ran down for me, I was like in shock. Like, what? I could not believe all of the intricate details that it gave. Oh, I know what it was. I had applied to build a curriculum for a college, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't undercut myself with the price.
right.
And so I put in
Yes,
there what they wanted, what it was, and all of this. And when it came, I mean, it was so detailed and so specific. And they didn't want to pay me that. They were like, "Oh, that's outside our budget." But this is what and really, I think that it would have been more. It should have been a little bit more. That was probably on the mid range because of all the time that goes in there. But it broke, when I tell you, ChatGPT broke it down hour by hour, how long it was going to take for this portion and that portion and uploading it, all of this, making it accessible to students. I was like, yo, I have really been doing this wrong. So,
yes, exactly. And I have some, because I do mentor as well, and I have some people that come to me and say, "Oh, well, people don't have that budget." I'm like, "Okay, their budget is their budget, so that means you got to like de-scope
mhm,
it, right? It's not like, okay, I'm gonna give you all this for that, because you're worth something. Your time is
mhm.
worth something. This is worth something. So then you say, okay, well, if this is your budget, this is what I can give you for that budget."
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
when I sent the email with the amount and he was like, "Oh, it's outside of the budget," I immediately emailed and said, "Okay, well, what is your budget?" And I'm sure that I could develop
Mhm.
a package that would work. Never heard from him again.
Right.
I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, you really don't want my services because this, like you said, what I have in here and how it creep my mind is, yeah, no, I'm not just getting ready to give you all of this good stuff for nothing. Yeah, I'm not going to do
Mhm,
that."
mhm,
Oh
mhm.
my
Yeah.
goodness. Now we're
Right.
supposed to be talking about Junior. I'm up here interested in the AI stuff. Like, wait a minute now, what'd you say about that? Well, we're gonna talk offline about that one. We keep in contact. So I can know what I can
Yes,
do
absolutely.
for my part. Hey, Abundance, I see you there on
Mhm.
Facebook. Hello, hello, everyone that's joining. Like, tag, and share. This is an amazing, amazing show we have. I am so enjoying this so far. Now, let's get into Junior. Tell the
Yeah.
people how you even came up with it. And I went to the scripture. You had the scripture in your bio about it. I'm
I
like, let me
did.
open up this
I
word right here.
did.
I was like, well, Lord, look here, right there.
Right there, Romans
Yes.
16:7. So Junia is the first of its kind formal naming convention for when a mother gives her daughter her same name, first, middle, last. And you are right, in Romans 16:7, there was the apostle Junia, whom Paul described as being
Mhm.
outstanding, which means legacy, it means tradition, history, and all the good things that come along with that. Now, the story of that is I have been, as I've said before, entrepreneur forever. I focus on my career, my goals, my businesses, and I thought I had forever to start a
Mm.
family. And no one told me that as women age, I'm 50,
No.
but as women,
Oh, we do
yes,
look good, don't we? Okay, okay. I would not have guessed that. You look amazing.
thank you. So as women age, the quality of our eggs
Mhm.
deteriorates. And so by the time my husband and I wanted to have children, and we had so many cycles of IVF, none of the embryos were
Mm.
viable. So we do have 7 embryos now. They're all with egg donors, so not my own. And I got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, like my lineage ends with me, and like there's nothing, there's no money, there's no time, there's none of
Mm-hmm.
that can make my eggs have my DNA. I even researched some stuff, but it hasn't been approved by FDA, and it's very experimental about taking a healthy egg and then infusing some of my DNA in it, and it is done in about 3 or 4 different
Mm-hmm.
places, but time isn't on my side, right? So we did that, and I was so sad and depressed about it, and it takes a lot to get me
Mm-hmm.
there. And I prayed, and God told me, Tamara, your parents gave you more than just your genetics. They taught you how to be a good
Mm-hmm.
person, how to be a good citizen of the world, how to be a lover and a giver of life, how to be smart, work hard, those type things. And I was okay for a little bit, but I still wanted something tangible. It was like, I mean, I feel like I know I come from a strong people. Like we survived the transatlantic. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
here and we survived. And now it stops with me. Like the tree, boom, is
Mm-hmm.
going right there. So I said, well, what I could do is name my daughter after
Mm-hmm.
me. And that's something more tangible. So then I did all this research, like what's the female equivalent of junior? And there is
Mm-hmm.
none. But there is record based on my research about 30,000 daughters who are named after their mothers, but there's nothing formal and they don't have any
Okay.
suffix. And so I then came up with Junia, and I wanted to come from the Bible because I'm Bible,
Mm-hmm.
grounded. And that's what I came up with. So now females can honor themselves with something that is as outstanding as Junior
Mm-hmm.
is. And that's how I came up with Junia. And so I'm going on all of these speaking tours to kind of let people know. We have if you go to Junia, JUNIA legacy.com, there's a formal certificate, there's a naming ceremony, there's a declaration of rights. We're actually having a video shoot where we're on Wednesday where we're having all these mothers and daughters come so we can have a big video and announcement about it. And so now the next step is really going and working with legislatures to actually get a resolution and to get it passed so it can be with Social Security Administration, passport services, and it can be
Oh wow.
official. But it was birthed out of the pain of my lineage ending, and I wanted something tangible and something that could honor. And then my mother passed away 10 years ago, so it was like, oh, my mother's gone and she won't even be here, to help raise the daughter. So it was all these different
Mm-hmm.
emotions, and rather than just sit and have a pity party forever, and I'll admit, no matter how strong you are or what you do, you have your moments of something that's just like this is when it finally
Yeah.
hit me after trying and trying and trying and trying. I was like, I've got to do something. So I could only cry so long. And then I said, okay, well, this is what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And so many people can't even believe that it hadn't been done before.
Mm.
So it is here now and it's Junior and it's just so beautiful. And I sometimes get teary eyed thinking about
It's
it.
amazing to me how pain, something so beautiful and so amazing and so
Mhm.
phenomenal, can come out of something so painful. And that
Right.
will, and I hope for you that this has, even though it can't replace what you actually wanted, you know that you can
Hmm.
leave this for other women, other mothers,
Hmm.
something that they can
Hmm.
have that will carry them on. And that's you. That's like you telling me how in the beginning, when we first started, how I've, influenced so many people and taught and all of that stuff. Same way here, but in a major way. Like I remember a few times thinking about the whole, the daughters being named after the mother, but there was nothing that would make it like
Hmm.
Junior. Like we just equate that with men, like, oh, you're carrying on the lineage of the male, but what
Right.
about us? Like we're just
Yes.
important. It's just as important. Like we're the ones that carry these suckers and have them and
Exactly.
go through all of the changes in our body. Y'all just get to, just be like, yeah, that's my boy,
Right.
that's my girl. Like, really? What about us?
Right. Exactly. And I have actually been a part of some conversations where this was kind of before I even thought about this, and it didn't two and two didn't connect. where there was someone, a young lady was like, "Oh, you know what? I might name my daughter after me." And everybody was like, "What? That's so conceited. That's so cocky. That's so
Mhm.
arrogant." And I'm like, "But men
Yeah.
do it, and why
Right.
not? Like, why not? We got to start asking why
Yeah.
not." And so now I just think it's so wonderful. And there are some people, based on my research, that have like Queen Elizabeth II, Aunt Eleanor Roosevelt, Nancy Sinatra. And so we're actually going to honor them. I've done my research to get in contact with their family with the honorary Junia.
Mm.
But for future, I just think it's
Oh
just so
yeah, I
amazing.
just see it just really expanding and a lot more. Like I'm thinking about my daughter who's the oldest. Like, wow, what would have been like
Uh-huh.
to name her April? Like, would she really have lived up to that name? She probably would say, "Mom, no, I'm so glad you didn't." But I don't know. I don't know, but I think it is amazing. So now that you have, so how long has this business, this portion, been in existence? When did you start this?
So I've been thinking about it for probably six
Mm-hmm.
months, but I had officially I did it on my 50th
Okay.
birthday. So that's the official date. March 1st, 2025 is the official
Okay.
date of it. But we've been doing stuff, but it was in the making. We've gone through the trademark. And I always want everyone to know this is not a business for
Mhm.
me. This is just like a legacy that I'm trying. Now, of course, I'm sure stuff will come out of it because I'm sure I'll have to partner with certain companies to like, naming companies when you go to babies.com and other stuff. So there will be partnerships with there. But this is just like a legacy, a
Mhm.
tradition. And when I thought about it, honestly, I was just thinking about it for myself. And then I was like, wait a minute, like this could be something more formal. And so if there's money to be made, then that's great. I'm probably going to donate, most, if not all of it
Mhm.
anyway. But this is something that will live beyond me
Mhm.
because I think that we, of course, have financial goals, but we all have like these invisible badges, we want to like get a doctorate, start a podcast. Like we always have these things that we
Right.
want. And this is one of the invisible pins that I will wear that will continue and live
Mhm.
forever beyond.
Yeah. Amazing. So
Hmm.
I have folks over here on Instagram. One of my friends, she said it is beautiful. She says her daughter has her middle name, and she says she thinks that it's okay. She knows people who have done it. So yeah, it's
Thank
yeah,
you.
it is. I just see it expanding and growing. It's going to give us women to be a lot more comfortable with us and who we
Hmm.
are, and not think that we're
Hmm.
supposed to stand back, but be bold out, even with this
Hmm.
aspect, because we are bold with entrepreneurship and other things that we have going on. Why not be just as bold as this? When
Right.
like when you name your son after their father, the fathers get a
Hmm.
badge of honor for that. Oh, you got your junior. Yeah, you got your boy. But what about us and what it represents for us? Our nurturing,
Hmm.
how we
Hmm.
are nurturing, and our creativity. And a lot of us, a lot of women, if over the years, you back many years ago, when people, they were making little to nothing, but they made their
Hmm.
household work. They took care of their
Yeah.
children. They fed them. They nurtured them. They trained them. They raised them. All of that. Why not give them your name? Because that means a
Right.
lot. It means strength. It means
Hmm.
power. It means perseverance and endurance, even when things are difficult. So that says a lot. Shoot, I might want to.
Yeah.
I can't have no more kids. I'm done. I'm done. I'm a few months shy of 50. Like I'm not doing that anymore. But to think
Right.
about that, like, wow, I wish this had been a little earlier on. One of my girls would have been April. But that is amazing. So
Uh-huh.
I know that as you have done more and more, I know it's been a short period of time, but you've been planning and putting things out there. Have you had a lot of contact, a lot of people reaching out to you for that, about to get more information?
Well, in terms of reach out, honestly, this is my first
Oh,
interview.
wow.
This is the first one, yes, about Junia.
Okay, so this is
Yes.
gonna be everywhere. YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook, every Instagram. Okay, good. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a good thing. That is good.
Yes, it is. This is the first one, and it's crazy because I was actually saying I'm about to go on the my first interview about Junia because I'm eventually going to make a documentary out
Okay.
of it, and so this interview will be that first one that I've had. But I did send it out to my network, and I've gotten nothing but positive responses. In fact, one of my line sisters said that her husband's mother was named after his grandmother. They both have passed
Uh-huh.
away, but they're like trying to look for pictures so that we can put it in the
Yeah.
documentary, etc. And I've gotten a lot of within my network. They were like, "Oh my God, why hasn't this been done before? I can't believe I know the founder and creator of this is going to go, throughout the ends of time." So what turned out to be just for me is now this shoulder to like make sure it
Mhm.
happens and get it passed and let people know that this is an empowerment,
Mhm.
movement. This is about legacy. And if they can, we can too. And there should be nothing wrong with that. Because I know little boys that walk around, grown men that walk around proud to be
Mhm.
juniors. Well, now we're gonna be proud to be
Yeah.
juniors. And I just think it's amazing. And I just, thank God for the opportunity for his intelligence to come in mine and
So,
hear me.
how has this whole thing helped you? Because you were in your depressed state and just not feeling like anything was going to happen for you. How has this so helped you in your own walk with what you're dealing with?
Well, I'm officially not depressed anymore because I have something. I mean, I think that thing of the end of my genetics will always kind of be
Hmm.
there, but turning, like you said, this pain into power and has been helpful to
Hmm.
me. Because you can't be depressed. I mean, I have these businesses. I got employees that depend on me, and my businesses, etc. So I can't stay on that. But it's done that, and now I just feel this mission to make sure that it's formal
Hmm.
for folks. That's really what I want to, and I want the message to get
Hmm.
out. And so it's turned into an action of love and happiness. And I can say that I'm officially not depressed anymore.
That is so good.
Yeah.
So how has it been with the government with things trying to get it all with passports and stuff like that? Have they been welcoming to it? Have you gotten a lot of kickback from it? How has that been?
So I've done research to reach out to those that would be most supportive. I have not made, and I have my email and etc. going on, but I decided that what I'm going to do first is to reach out locally, so that way when I can go more on the national level and the state level, I can say, well, I have these local
Hmm.
supporters. So to date, I've reached out to my network, my different schools where there have been folks that have gone into politics and
Hmm.
congressmen and women to be supportive. I see one of the comments said that this would be excellent for lesbian couples raising girls named after themselves. Absolutely. And so, any of those advocates, I kind of feel like it's not that I only have one shot, but I want to make sure that the message is right and I have the message. But I kind of feel like, at least in today's politics, it's easier if you say, I have this list of
Hmm.
supporters. And so I'm deciding to kind of build those up
Hmm.
locally to then go more on the
Yeah.
national level. If there's anybody out there that knows of anybody in politics anywhere that would really help support this, we'd be so
Yeah,
appreciative.
it's always good to have some receipts. Like, I got these receipts. I got
Yeah.
these people here. I have this backing here. So that is always helpful. It's like when I tell students who want to go to medical school, I tell them to start off because I'm in surgical technology. So I tell them start off here and then go. They see
Yes.
this on your resume. It's not going to guarantee you a slot in med school, but it's going to look really good that you have this training because that means you're just going to add on to what you already know. So that's always a good
Right.
thing to have that support. Wow, that is exciting. I'm excited about that, to have that
Thank
something else to
you.
empower us. And that's exactly what the House of Peach Boss Ladies Lounge is about, empowering women. Now, the men, I don't want y'all
Mhm.
to feel left out. We want to empower you too, but y'all got your own
Right.
stuff now. We want to have something for us too. That we empower the men.
And be supporters of us in this too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want to do we do this to help push us because you have a wide range of things that you're getting it that you are into with businesses and foundations and all of that to let women know, look, she look like us. So if you can definitely do that, what is it that there's nothing that we can't do. There aren't things that nothing is off the table for us. So if you can
Mm-hmm.
do it, it just starts with an idea. And then you have that
Right.
drive and the determination. And then just, hey, I'm a firm believer that if God allowed you to think it, he put it in here, then he gives you the strategy
It
on
has
how to
to.
execute it
Mm-hmm.
if we just listen. If we just listen, if we
Mm-hmm.
pay attention, if we are obedient, then and pay attention to what he presents to us. Because I
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
there's some things that I've missed because I was not paying attention. And I'm like, God, if you bring it around again, I'll make sure I see it this time, you know? So then we now have this to
Right.
know, look, we're not just homemakers. We're not just, we have a lot of things that we can get involved in. Let me see if we got anything. I'm looking. Wonderful idea, everything. All right. They are loving it everywhere. I'm just trying to look at these three
Yes.
screens and keep up with what's going on. So,
And someone asked, have I received negative feedback from men? No, they're just as positive and have been just as supportive as the women. It's a different type of excitement for the women, because it's real for them. But no, I've gotten nothing but support. And so now it's just kind of like executing against that
mhm,
strategy. And, there was something you mentioned before, April, and I just want to say this like, people, I mean, I thank God I do have an impressive bio, right? But I started with nothing. Like we grew up
mhm,
poor, poor.
mhm,
But it was all. But I'm very strategic, and I think I have a. If there's one superpower, it's like EQ to like read a
mhm,
room and come up with a strategy. And I'm thoughtful. So you would mention like, oh well, what about legislatures and stuff like that? I'm
mhm.
thoughtful because it's like what did Eminem say, Linda? You only got one shot. So I make sure that it's
Mhm.
tight before I go there. But grit and strategy, God, it's got it. Like we can do anything we put our mind to. We're created here for a reason. Figure what that
Yeah,
out. And is this a big path in front of me to get absolutely? But it's going to
yeah,
be done.
yeah. And one word that you mentioned that I always talk to people out is passion. When you don't
Mm-hmm.
know, I was talking with the young lady at church after church yesterday, and she wants to get into something in the entrepreneurial space. And I said, I want to ask you this question. I said, what excites you? What motivates you? What pushes you? And so she just immediately spit it out what she wanted to do and how she saw herself. I said, and that's where we'll go. And that's where we'll start. I'll
Mm-hmm.
connect you with people in
Mm-hmm.
that space and in that arena that can give you steps and give you tools and things that you need to do in that. But having passion about it is important. All right, look at there. I want more information to do it in Delaware. Okay, Peach and Snack, y'all handle it. They got Delaware on lock. Y'all have that. I'm over here in
Yeah.
Florida, so we'll. I
Absolutely, absolutely. And I always do know you're absolutely right, April. It's a passion. And then the second step I tell them they got to figure out very, very quickly is passion and then who's gonna pay?
Mhm,
P squared, like who's gonna
mhm,
pay? Because I can be passionate about gardening, but nobody might they might not like my flowers, they might like somebody
mhm,
else's. Like who is going to pay and make sure you have a paying customer.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's major. I just thinking about all of this from the AI stuff to the naming. What else are you into or going to be into? I know your gears are always turning. How do you shut your brain down at night so you can rest? How do you do that?
I sleep very well, and if you ask my husband, he says I snore very well too. So now, one thing I'm going to do is sleep. I try to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep every
Okay.
night. Sundays are my day to church and make sure I do my facials and all that kind of stuff. But I believe in the power of delegation.
Mm,
So with my main company, the leading niche, the federal contract, I have a very strong number two. I have a very strong team. They're a young team. I love people that have a hustle. I prefer attitude over aptitude because I can train. But if you got an attitude,
mhm.
you know, a bad attitude, and then I can't
Yeah.
work with you. And with Junia, I do use Chat GPT to kind of help with some of the deep research that I need. I give it the ideas. With the hotel investment, we're investors, so it's passive. Just write a check and they do
Mm-hmm.
it. With Rely AI, I found a partner who has started, grown, sold tech
Mm-hmm.
companies. So he brings that while I bring the strategy and the marketing. So that's good there. With my avatar coaching company, I have interns that help with that. So I delegate a lot so that I can focus on bringing in the customers and the
Mm-hmm.
strategy. I don't do it all myself. There's no way I
Yeah,
could.
yeah, and that's important because you need to have that downtime whenever you can and be really diligent about and purposeful to have that, because with everything that we have going on, you could easily get sucked in and burn out and frustrated, and the next thing you know, you're just like, you know what, I don't want none of this. I don't want any of this, and you don't want to do that because now
Yeah.
delegation is important. I wish that my mom was on here so I can say, you hear that? My mother owns a daycare center in Georgia. My two
Oh.
oldest daughters
Mhm.
work with her. One is the assistant director, the other one's administrator in the office. And they're young, they're in their 20s, so they have these ideas about growth and expansion. And they're like, okay, they call her Nana. Okay, Nana, we got this. If you just go over there, go over there. And she's still like trying to have her hands. I'm like, Mom, stop it. You have help. You have young minds that can help you grow. Just let them do it. And she just will. You need to go on a vacation.
But outside of the daycare, what does she love to do?
She loves everything about children, and my mother's an evangelist, so church is her life. It's church and it's those kids. And if there's anything else, that I don't know anything else, because that's all she's done.
So when I met resistance, like I have one employee and there was some stuff I needed her to do. She's really good and great. She's like, but I'm like, look, you love to go camping on the weekends. She loves to pop open a can of beans and get there with fire. I'm like, if you don't automate this on the weekends, you're going to be doing the work.
Oh.
And so now she doesn't. So for your mom, if there was a 501c3 just dedicated to the children, or a foundation to the children, or tell her there's more time she could be in
Mhm.
church, that's one way to kind of get her to tip away. Like the better you focus on the nonprofit and helping children, we focus on the
Yeah.
for profit. So I find that if you can figure out what else they're interested
Uh-huh.
in and say, if you allow us to do this, you have more time to do this.
Mm.
Then at some point they do kind of,
Yeah,
go over there.
one of my daughters is on here. Zuri, you hear that? There's your strategy, baby. That's how you do it. I love it. I love it. Wow. So I know now I'm going to use AI a little bit more. I have been like here and there, but for things that I want to do, and they're kind of snailing along. I need them to now explode. I need to go on there and let it tell me. And I think I did it, and it's just like, oh, this is amazing. And I just put it in a folder and left it there like, yo, you got to do something with that to make it work. So I got to
You
pick that
do.
back up, because there's a lot of things that I know personally that I want to do in business and for me myself. So I got to utilize what is in the world. Now, I don't let my students use it. I told them, you cannot use it to do anything, especially when I want your own mind. Like, I don't want ChatGPT telling you the answers when it's, what is your opinion? What do you think? No, the robot, that thing is not thinking for you. That's just giving you something. I want your own thoughts. So, yeah, I will give them a 0.
Okay, so can I respond to that?
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna say that. So I was talking to a professor from one of my alma maters. I'm not gonna say which one. He was like, I know my students are using it. And I said, okay. Well, what that means is, I mean, they're
Yeah.
gonna use it, okay? Like, and then you're just gonna force them to lie
Mm-hmm.
about it. And although they have AI trackers to say like, oh, this is 50% AI, this not. I think it's got to be on to the professors, up to them, to change the
Mm-hmm.
format. Meaning presentations,
Mm-hmm.
case studies. Okay, you're in the real time. They got to videotape. They get the response. They got to videotape how they would answer
Oh.
it, and then they have some technology that can tell that you cannot go away from the
Uh-huh.
screen. So since it's not going anywhere, I think we got to shift our minds to how we engage. And quite honestly, multiple choice and essay stuff is really the case examples. Like if you were in this situation, where this person has this type of symptoms. Then they have an angry spouse over here yelling at you, like, how would you do that? That, to me, I think it's got to go both ways. It's got to be the students not using it, and then the professors and the instructors being creative about how can we do it where they do have to think in real time. Because guess what? They're not going to have time to do research in some of these emergency surgical situations. They got to figure it out then and there. And what better way to start that with, other than in the classroom?
I like the whole video response. That might be quite entertaining for me. No, we're not going to type it out. You're going to do a 1-minute video and answer these questions, and boom. And I'm watching your eyes to see if you're looking at another screen and putting that in or not.
And they have AI that can watch for you too.
Yeah.
It can tell you whether or not they're going to other screens or whether or not they're shifting and looking. It would do that. There's AI for that too. So that way you don't have to be in person. You could be off doing your entrepreneurial things, and then the AI would tell you whether or not they're looking at it. But they have 1 minute to put it, to come up with this. This is a scenario, and they've got to do it. I mean, it's really exciting when you think about it.
Yeah, because I'm always trying, every quarter, I'm trying to find a more interesting way. Like the students, my name has been passed down. So when I get new students, they've already heard about me, that Miss Anderson does not play. And the program director said, listen, don't go in her classes playing around or you're not going to survive. You're not going to make it. So they're already terrified, like, oh my God, we do one more thing. I'm like, calm down. So I want to make it where it's a lot more fun, a lot more interactive. And that is a great idea that I will probably consider for next quarter. Yeah.
Thank you. You know what? Like, we need them to know the stuff. We need them to know the stuff because healthcare providers, I mean, y'all are the real heroes. My dad had a scare. Yeah, my dad had a scare and I got a call. They were wanting the permission because they needed to do an extra procedure. I'm like, is he dead or alive? It was just kind of like they wanted to go through the protocol. I'm like, skip that. Like, give me some answer. And he made it through with no problems, thank God. And I was just so grateful. I mean, y'all are like the real heroes.
I tell my students, look, it can go from 0 to 100 in a matter of 2 seconds. And if you are not grounded and focused and remember and use what you've been taught, your patient's not going to make it. And it's going to be on you, not on the surgeon, on you, because you were supposed to be helping. So I had one student who they were doing an assignment. And when you have the radio buttons, you have to click off because if you don't, it'll change your answer. So a couple of them are like that. And I tell them one of the qualities for the field that we're in is paying attention to detail. So you got to pay attention to the detail to click off that radio button so it doesn't change it. I said, sorry, because if you don't do that in surgery and your patient's dead, you didn't pay attention to details. So let's focus. Let's get it together.
You're an amazing. You're an amazing.
No, they don't think so. They don't. They at the beginning they're like, but at the end, they're loving me at the end. Like, now you see what I'm trying to do because you're not working with mannequins on the table. These are live, breathing people, and I want it done right because my name is attached. I don't understand what is April teaching them. I'm teaching them right. They're doing that wrong all over there.
Right.
Well, I have enjoyed having you on. So, what would you tell us? Everybody about let's go back to the AI part. What would you tell us as we are transitioning into, like you said, it's here and it's not going anywhere, so we might as well embrace it and use it to our advantage and to help us in different areas. What would you tell that person is like, I don't want anything to do with AI, I just don't know, I'm whatever? What would you say to all of us and even those people as well when it's dealing with AI?
So I'm going to say 3 things, and one of them's going to be a self-plug. Go to my podcast, Lead with AI Podcast, because I'm making it for the everyday person that is afraid of it, curious, but afraid to miss out as well. And you'll hear about all the late breaking that's going on and very simple things you can do. That's number 1. Number 2 is to write down your boldest goals and dreams, and just go to OpenAI, ChatGPT, and say, you got to be good with the prompting, but you can learn it and just say, this is my bold goal. Give me a strategy on how to get there. And whatever, and let's just see what it comes up with. You don't lose anything. It takes like 5 seconds, not even, for it to come up with that. And then third, I would say that you think about what you're passionate about. And if you could have more time doing that, you would be happy. And say that, AI is going to be my friend to help me get more happiness in terms of doing the time that I
Mhm.
need. So yeah, you can write a press release, you can write an article, you can write the questions, you can do all of that, but it might take you hours. And it literally takes ChatGPT. Let's say if you got to redo the prompt to get it exactly how you want it in your tone, it could take you a couple of, an hour versus 3 days to do it.
Mm.
So if nothing else, try to use it to find more time so you can do the stuff that you love, which for me is spending time with my family, sleeping. You know, I get a lot of rest, and I try my best to. I want to look young forever,
Mhm.
and be young as much as I can. And ChatGPT helps me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to. You got to. This legacy that you're creating, you have to be around a long time to see it, to get
Hmm.
to the levels that you may not have even thought about, but it gets there. And then further for you to say, you know what? I have done what I needed to do. I have left this legacy. We just going to take it, let it move on even after you're gone, which is good. So people, y'all make sure you get what you need. The resources are there. And Dr. Tamara is ready to help you wherever you need help, because my name is going to be on the help list. I tell you that. I need to help myself because I have lots of things that I want to do and I need to get myself together. I really do. So my time
Well, you can
away
do it.
was my beginning. That was my reset. That was my refocus, recharge, and reboot. Now let's get going. Let's do this. We're gonna have to do that
Yes, I love
again.
that.
So, well, any last words that you want to anything?
Well, I'm just so honored to be here again. This is my first interview about Junior. I know we talked about a lot of things, but actually each thing has something to do with Junior. AI is for the
Right.
future, and in terms of technology, but Junior is for the future in terms of culture and legacy and all of that. So I just thank you for being here, and anybody that's listening now or in the future, if you want to get in touch, it's Junia, Junia at juniorlegacy.com. And so you go to the website, and I just look forward to your please help championing this so that we can get it to be official and spread the word so we can have a lot of juniors running around. And most importantly, just believe in yourself and whatever goals you have, because if you're here for a reason. God has a purpose for you. Don't let anybody tell you no. If you walk in a room, you deserve to be there. And just be confident. That's what we want to do, is just be confident and fulfill our dreams and the will that is there for our lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have heard it here, and I am just honored and excited to have you on the Boss Lady Lounge. First interview that you've had for Junior, like that is so special to me.
That's the history
Oh my
books. I'm telling
goodness.
you, it's gonna be in the documentary.
Yes, I love it. And oh my goodness, I am, every time I finish a show, I'm always excited, like charged up, but I'm really excited because this is history in the making right here.
Yes,
Right here. So we can
right
say,
here,
hey, I did
right
the
here.
first interview on the
Yes,
show.
you did.
That is so great. So you guys know how to get in contact. If you do, if you want to get in contact and you may not have written it down or whatever, just inbox me. I got all the information. I'll share that with you. You can get in contact with Dr. Tamara. We have enjoyed having you on. That you
Thank
are just
you.
a joy. I just speak many blessings over everything that your hands
Thank you.
do, and that God would expand and grow you beyond measure that you can't even think of. And a lot of women, I
Yes.
just keep thinking about that legacy with the names, and just thinking about like my grandmother and my great grandmother who helped to raise me and the things that they taught me.
Mhm.
Like it just, oh my God, they would have loved this. They would have loved it. But
Mhm.
just the lineage, y'all think about women, think about that and who you came from and how your family line was, and listening to those stories, it makes it even more impactful to have that name like that. My grandmother's name means power. This is what she
Yes.
persevered through. This is what she taught me and how she did it. Ooh, yeah, I got all the excitement now. Okay, I'm gonna calm on down. Listen, y'all,
Okay.
thank y'all for joining. You know, we will be back on next Monday at the same time. You never know who. I am actually working on some things in the background so we can kick this up a few notches. My producers don't even know about it, but I'm sure they're going to be all for it when they hear it. At least I hope so. Something to expand us even more and make the Boss Ladies Lounge even greater than what it is. We appreciate your support. If you have not subscribed to the House of Peach, there's a QR code on the screen. All you got to do is use your handy dandy phone and scan that QR code, and you will be abreast of everything that's happening with House of Peach, with the Boss Ladies Lounge, all of the stuff that we have. We want you to be in the know. We want you to stay on top of things, because on Mondays, y'all need to be parked right here. You have no excuse. YouTube and 3 Facebook pages, and Instagram. Come on. You got it all. So you can't say, oh my God, I didn't know. Yeah, you did. So put it in your phone. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will look forward to y'all being on. So y'all have an amazing rest of your week. Dr. Tamara, we're so happy that you were able to come on. All right, y'all. We'll see you next Monday. Look on my page for the next show and what we're going to have talking about and who may be on. You just never know. All right. Be blessed, y'all. See you next week.